Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to our Toronto TV web program, Education Insight. I'm the program host, Carol Chan. Today, this is our privilege to have an honorable guest here. It's Miss Sue Wong. We can always call her Trustee Sue Wong. So welcome.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Great. You were elected at the current term. It's 2006, right?
That's right.
Do you mind I ask you how? Why did you run the campaign?
This is the second time I'm a school trustee.
Oh.
I was a trustee back in 1994 to 1997 in downtown Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the second time around in the post-amalgamated city, much bigger than what it was before. I am a strong supporter of public education. I certainly see that the role of the school board and the school trustee have a huge impact in terms of delivering programs and services and providing leadership.
Great.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The role of the trustee is very clear under the Education Act, that you're responsible for the public policy, the program direction, but also the budget for the board. Okay, you know, it's like anything else, budgets always drive some of the issues. However, you also have vision and leadership. I have been a very strong supporter, besides being in public education, certain issues. Literacy is a big thing for me. We know literacy is the first indication for student success, so I have championed that issue during my entire campaign. I also support the issue of character education. Now it's becoming mandatory from the province. And for your viewers, the issue about character education deals specifically with how do you promote well-rounded student, not just about the academic, which we hear a lot about. What makes a whole student, meaning that the students that will have respect for others, tolerance, understanding, and have good character, positive ethical behavior and conduct in real life, because we are promoting and preparing the future employee, a future employer for this world.
Yeah.
This is a very technical world. They need to have ethical standards and ethical beliefs.
Wonderful. So you have a vision
Big
for
vision,
the new
yes.
generation.
Yeah.
Great. I'm really proud of you. Actually, you just said that as a role of trustee is a wonderful kind of, commitment and responsibilities. So do you have a regular kind of activity? Do you have any regular subcommittee you have to participate?
The board regulations requires every trustee to participate in one standing committee. Okay. So at the Toronto District School Board, we have 4 standing committee. One of them, like for instance, finance, human resources, facility, and then the other one's called programs. So anything under programs, from ESL to continuing education, all this are going under certain. So each department within the Toronto District School Board goes under one of these standing committee. And within these standing committee, we have also subcommittee.
Yeah.
Okay. So there are a lot of subcommittees going around.
So which committee?
I've been sitting on, I sit on the facility committee that's responsible for all the billing for the school board.
Oh.
I also sit on the audit committee. I chair the audit committee for the board. I also sit on one of the trustee rep for the parents committee. That's another subcommittee of the board. There's the other committee that we always had this committee. It's called planning and priority. This is a committee that vets the agenda for the board, puts some priority, what's going to be moving forward, that kind of stuff. I also sit on that. And then there's other ones that we just recently created. Last fall, I move a motion to ask for establishment of a health committee.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
My background's in healthcare.
Yeah.
So for me, and so health and education go hand in hand. We know for a fact that people who are healthy tend to have a higher education. So we have many health issues brought into our school.
Yeah, I heard there's another school board they promote is mental health.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
physically.
Yeah,
because they by emotional, mentally.
What the data show, that's why it's really disconcerting for the viewer, is the fact that the data show, depending on what data you're reading, 1 to 9, 1 to 10 kids in our school with mental health problem. Okay, the aggression, the behavioral problem, those are related to mental health.
See, so everybody right now understand more about your job description expectation. It's a wonderful workload.
It's heavy.
It's tough.
It's a heavy workload
Do
for
you
a
mind
part-time
ask you?
trustee.
Yeah, that's why I asked
For being
that.
a part-time
trustee. Do you
Okay.
mind to share with us the salary base?
Gee,
Any
it's-
benefits?
No benefits. I'm gonna tell you right now.
No benefits?
No benefits. Okay. Under the
Oh.
regulation, there's no benefit. We have part-time trustees, because we are the largest school board. The honorarium, the remuneration for our board is a little bit larger than other school board. It's about $35,000 plus
$35,000
a year. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Plus expenses. We can incur expenses.
Mhm.
We can also have a constituency. Okay, I have a constituency assistant. Okay, again, she's even more part-time than me. She
Wow.
gets up to $18,000, which is very little. Okay, most part-time jobs are $20,000 to $30,000. She only gets 18. Okay, for all the calls, all the emails I read. I mean, on average, I get about 100 to 200 emails a day.
I
Okay?
know.
And on top of the phone calls.
24-hour
Okay.
working.
Okay, and the expectations are there. Okay,
Mm.
when parents have issues with the child and their learning, they have to call somebody. This is an elected position. People expect you to be saying things and supporting the kids.
Yeah, do you mind? I just heard, from the news that there's a
Yeah.
kind of bad impact from some of the trustees. They have financial kind of
Problem. Yeah.
problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have overused the kind of a limitation
Yeah.
of allowance.
Well, I look at two things, okay?
Mhm.
If they overuse allowance and better the children, that's a different issue, okay? If you're overusing your allowance to better yourself as a trustee, that's a different issue, okay? What we heard in the recent news is overusing the budget, the taxpayers' dollar, for that particular trustee's personal use, okay?
Mhm.
I will not apologize to overuse my budget to support my kids, okay? Because I think it's very important. People need to understand, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, that are we using our budget wisely? I have spent much of my budget dollar dealing with literacy.
This is a role model.
Absolutely.
On the system.
Absolutely, you have to be there. What are you there to support? The students of tomorrow, of today, the adults of tomorrow. Are you here to support the student, and what are you doing for the students?
Yeah. So that's a very important. But I just wonder, can you share about the current issues? I know
Oh,
you're
we have lots
too
of current
busy,
issues.
so many issues.
We have lots of issues at the school board. First and foremost, I'm very, very pleased. Last month, our board just enhanced our ESL funding and program. Okay, for the last 10 years, the Toronto District School Board has used about 50% of the money that's been allocated from the province. The province every year gives a set amount of money for ESL, but our staff and the trustee, before I came on board, have used that money for other things, such as water, hydro, heat, that kind of stuff, okay?
Mhm.
They have not spent exclusively for ESL students. So I was able to lobby, advocate with my own other 21 trustee, get majority of them to support more ESL teacher for this coming school year. So in coming school year, we're looking at another 55 high school ESL teacher just for high
Okay.
school, and another 85 for elementary. The reason why we have 85 elementary is the fact that last year we have about 53% of our elementary school students didn't get any ESL support.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
over 50% of ESL students who got funding from the province didn't get the teaching. Okay,
Mhm.
that's not acceptable. Okay, and so I'm very concerned about that, because every child who are in our system need to be communicating, need to be able to write, read, and speak English properly, because this is our official language.
Literacy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the first indication student success. The other big thing that the board is very, very concerned about is the fact that we have a decline in student enrollment. Okay? Right now at the Toronto District School Board, we're losing 2% on the elementary school. And I say elementary is JK to grade 8 of the student population, because the population is growing old.
Yeah.
We have people gray power, the gray power. is not as critical as in elementary. The high school is kind of stable, 0.1% decrease. That's not very significant. So that's a big concern. We also have a big concern right now is that we almost have 100 empty school buildings.
Oh,
Okay, because
for
we
the
have
whole area.
for the whole all of city. Okay,
Yeah.
so about 100 empty buildings in the city. And so we have concerns about that because what are you going to do with these buildings? You can't just go and sell a lot because the Education Act restrict how you dispose those property. This is public property. So there's a regulation what you must go through before you can dispose those property. Okay, that's a third issue. And
It's a waste.
Well, it's not a waste. It's the fact that this is public space, and you need to make sure you manage it well and making sure you're protecting public interests.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you've heard recently about the black school.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think a lot of
what can
people
I say?
interest.
What can I say? I have been public about this. I did not support it. I will continue not to support it. I think that we have a very good public education, as you know, and our data shows that. Okay, I'm proud. Many of the students in the last couple of years, the top students for the last couple of years, the last 10 years, I could say, have always been coming from the public school board. All right, so we have private school in the system too. They're not successful compared to our schools. Okay, so we are very concerned about the fact that this particular proposal that got the first hurdle, meaning that the director is coming back to a report to the board in May on the feasibility. Will it move forward or will the whole project be closed down? Okay, so how feasible is this creation of this black school? All right, so that's only what the board has given the director to do. So until that votes come in May, if your viewers are watching this program, if they don't support the black school or if they do support the black school, they need to speak out. They need to talk.
Great impact for the community.
Absolutely,
so
because it's gone national,
exactly.
and not just national. You know what, Carol? I found out CNN was picking it up, so it's gone international.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've become such a galvanized community discussion. How is the largest school board in Canada, one of the largest school board in North America, is developing a program or a school based on race?
It's a big issue, like affecting the whole thing. Become kind of a social problem.
Yep.
It creates a lot of conflict.
It creates a lot of equity issue.
Equity,
Okay,
yeah.
because we have such a multicultural community.
Yeah.
Okay, one could argue, well, why don't we have a South Asian school?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't we have Afghan school? Why don't we have a Chinese school?
Exactly.
Okay, because we do have students who are not successful. I have a lot of Portuguese students having difficulty. Not that the parents don't want us to help the kids, we certainly will, but not based on race.
So how about the school violence? And
Violence. I mean, last fall when the Falkland report, just want to make sure you viewer understand. The Falkland report came out last fall. Is not the school board report. It's the director.
Oh.
Okay. This is as a result of the shooting death in C.W. Jeffrey School. The director decided to commission this report. Now here is the challenge. There were 126 recommendations to the board. What are we going to do with it? A big proportion of these recommendations involves a lot of money. Okay, from cameras, they're asking for dogs, they're asking for this and that. Okay, but the key piece here is that there's no question if your student is not safe in a school, they cannot learn. But also, this also can be said, if your school is not safe, teacher have a right to say, I don't want to teach here. Okay, because at the end of the day, under the legislation, the board as an employee have to make sure every employee is safe. Okay, so we need to make sure the school is a reflection of the community. Okay, you see the crime out there, you see the violence out there. So those kind of behaviors or conduct out in the community is coming into our classroom, coming into our school. So unfortunately, we have to address them. When I was a trustee downtown back in the 90s, that was never an issue. Okay, now we have drills called lockdown. That was never happened back in the 90s, okay? Now we have school, all the doors are locked except the front door. That never happened 10 years
You
ago.
promote character matters, right?
Okay.
This is
We
kind
have
of-
character education.
Yeah.
That's a requirement, okay? That's one of the issue, okay? The fact is that we know the media, the advertisement out there, the internet somehow corrupted or influenced or affected these young people's thinking, their perception, and their views.
The kind of emotional control.
Well,
right?
it's a little of both. I think half of it is adolescent growth and development. We have what we call personal fables and invincibility. They could do no wrong. And we have legislation right now somehow protected some of these young offenders. Okay, so the fact of the matter here is many of the young people are great individuals, are doing wonderful in their school. We do have a proportion of our student population that are violent, okay, for a variety of reasons, okay. And again, I have to say they're learned behaviors, meaning we don't teach violence in our school. How do they become violent individual? How do they become so violent they hurt another individual or hurt a teacher, okay? So that has to be addressed, okay? So again, like I said, it's a reflection of the society. The other big challenge we have in our school is the fact that we have a lot of young people with mental health problems. Okay? Again, like I said, and we don't have enough support, okay? And I said earlier is that there's a strong relationship with kids with health problem and our education. I mean, a simple thing you heard about is that we have school nutrition program, right? Breakfast program, snack program. Where kids come into school hungry.
Is it cut down? No.
We're still providing it, okay? The school board's still funding some of these programs. We have kids coming to school hungry. How can they learn if they're hungry? They're falling asleep in class. So the school board in itself fundraise every year to raise funds so that we have kids in our school have some breakfast or have some lunch, have some snack, so they don't fall asleep in class.
Yeah.
So we need a lot of these social problem issue.
You know what? Everybody knows that there's a financial problem happen at the Toronto School Board. But on the other hand, I really admire your school board working really well. Is that you provide a variety of excellent programs, such as ESL, such as international language, and also the preschool education, like the EKSK program.
Yeah.
Can you share your updates about this kind of things?
I want to correct two things first, okay?
Yeah.
The ESL program is mandated by the province, okay? So the funding from ESL is based on how many students you have in your schools that are not born in Canada or who comes from a country that doesn't speak English, okay? So that's funding from the province. That's very different. We have past history of the international languages. Okay,
so separate,
very separate. It's still funded by the province, okay, that we have committed to continuing.
So no matter the bankruptcy, still they have the right to.
Well, the fact is we have a policy right now that if you have 15 kids or 15 parents wants to have an international language program, they can start a class, okay? So we have that policy. Until that policy changes, that is what we're going by, okay? Yes, it's very, very expensive to run, but at the same breath, the province is giving us money for that too, okay? So there's 3 ways to deliver the international language, okay? In the past, it's called heritage language. Now it's called international language. Yeah. So one way is right after school. That's the cheapest way. It's about $35 per student.
After school?
After school,
How many hours?
It's from 3:30 to about 5:30, 6 o'clock, okay?
Wow, that long?
Okay? It's about 2.5 hours, okay? So that's one program.
One every day or once a week?
For some school, it's only once a week, okay? But other schools, it's integrated, meaning it's every day. It's integrated. That's the most expensive.
Half an hour?
It's an additional 45 minutes.
Wow.
It's done in the school day, okay? That program is a little bit more expensive, okay? Then the third way to deliver international language is Saturday morning. Okay, Saturday morning class is very, very attractive to our parents. That program is about $72 a student, okay? And that's every Saturday, okay? So parents like the Saturday program the best. The kids have a brand new day. They have a rest all week, and they go Saturday morning only, okay?
Yeah, more focused.
Again, in Scarborough, for me as a trustee, I cannot keep up with the growth, okay? For many of my schools with international language, I put a program there, it's packed, okay? There's a lot of interest. When we also know about this international language, why I support it, is the fact that there's a strong relationship. If you can understand and comprehend your mother tongue, your mother languages, you're more successful in the English language, okay? That's why there's a relationship there, okay? I'm not supporting program that's not going to help the day school program.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really important, okay? People say, why you support international? Well, the data show, the research show. Okay, if you can understand and comprehend your own mother tongue, whether it's Chinese, Tamil, Afghanistan, or Somali, you're more likely to be successful in English language. Why would I support it?
How about the early child education, like the JKSK program?
Oh, the JKSK program is right now under review, as you know. The province and the premier is looking towards having year-round schooling, not year, all day JKSK. But here are the challenges. Okay, not all our schools can probably have this program, because we have many schools in the northeast part where we in Scarborough are overcrowded. Okay, so where are you going to find the space to accommodate this all-day program? We're already having challenge right now when they reduce the classroom size, as you probably heard.
Yeah.
So in an elementary panel, from JK to grade 3, the students' classroom size should be under 20. Under
yes.
20, okay? So now you're going to, the classroom size formula is going to continue to go up to grade 6. So where are you going to find the space? Okay? So that's a big concern. The other big thing here is that not only providing program space issue, you got to make sure staffing, because the teacher can only teach those 20 kids from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
So in the past, the teacher only teach 9 to 12, one group of 20 kids, then another group comes in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
Exactly.
So which means you're going to have to hire more teacher for 40 students, right? Because 20 in the morning, 20 in the afternoon. Okay, so this is going to be interesting how this is going to be operationalized, because this is a big issue for the Premier, the Minister of Education, and when they actually operationalize on a local school board level, it's going to be a challenge for my staff. I do know that the Toronto Catholic School Board successfully did some pilot on this initiative and did very well. Okay, I do support this initiative. I think it's very good for parents. Very good for parents.
Yeah.
Very good for working parents. But in terms of public space for the school, for the classroom, we're going to have to see how it's going to be done.
I think it's another impact to the child care service.
Yeah, it has a huge impact on daycare and after school activity.
Exactly.
Right.
But for the supporting the working parents is a great.
Very good. But just like I also support year-round schooling.
Yeah.
Right? Okay? Because we know this is what parents want. How do you have from July and August, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, no classroom, no teaching, okay? And we do know that in Durham and in Peel, they have a couple of schools that are year-round school and doing extremely well. Again, I moved a motion last year. We're looking into it right now. But the big challenge is not just having year-round schooling. We do know some teachers support it, okay? It's finding the space, the facility, because you don't want to have a classes in August that's not air conditioned.
Exactly.
Okay. Because you know how hot the city is, right? Okay, and we have a lot of old building, and they don't have air conditioning. So retrofitting of the school is important.
I think most the parents look forward to having the new issue, to accommodate their needs for summer. And besides the regular program, how about this is a hot topic, like IB program, gifted program. Is it benefit for the new generation? You highly recommend those programs for the
It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, okay? IB program, it stands for International Baccalaureate Program, is recognized at the university level, okay? It's recognized internationally. Certainly some of the parents believe the child do better in this kind of elite program, perceive as elite program. The gifted program, the students must be evaluated, okay? You cannot just say, well, today I think Johnny belongs to the gifted program. You have to be evaluated. Excuse me. There's a formalized process for the gifted program. The International Baccalaureate Program right now started from high school, but it's now coming down to middle school, 7 and 8.
Oh, yeah.
We do have a couple of schools in the system that have International Baccalaureate Program in grade 7, okay?
The pilot program.
It's a pilot. It's a pilot right now. So we recognize the fact that these programs are very well supported by our parents, because the students learn an extra language. They have to do extra volunteer work in the community, and the exams are not marked here in Canada or here in Toronto. It's marked internationally, somewhere out there, in part of the international program. Okay, so we do know this is a global village. Many of our students will love to travel, and this is another piece of paper some of our students value.
Yeah, it's a very popular, like the parents would like to rate or recognize those schools for
The ranking.
the ranking.
Ranking.
For instance, I have a document like a media advisory,
Yes.
annual award for excellence
Yes, yes.
for those schools.
Yeah.
Once it announced and promote, those parents that they
Yeah.
move their house to those areas.
I had that experience.
Yeah. So, what is the point of view for encourage parents how to deal with this?
I had that experience last year. I can tell you without, it was extremely challenging for me as a trustee. One of those schools on that list, okay, was one of my schools.
hot.
Okay, it's
Hot
extremely,
potato.
it's become a real estate nightmare, okay?
Yeah.
Traffic issue for the parents in that neighborhood, for all the residents in the neighborhood, I should say. But the other big issue is the fact that there's a perception these elite program in that school. We have many wonderful schools in the system, not just those listed in the Fraser Institute. And the results of that Fraser Institute results came from the EQAO testing, okay? Driven by the testing, this is what they spill out. My argument is that we have many wonderful public schools, and what makes a great school, not just the result of the EQAO, what are the commitment, the leadership of the principal, what kind of extracurricular activity that school has, or what kind of school council people, the parents' involvement, okay, so you can see that piece, and what kind of programming, because every school has different kind of way to deliver the program, okay. So for instance, I have many schools with many wonderful extracurricular stuff. I have a wonderful program one of my school. The entire school is into knitting.
Yeah.
From a 4-year-old to 6-year in grade 6 doing knitting, okay? So it's another way to deal with give it back to the community, and now mobilize the community to donate yarns and wool, the knitting needles, the whole 9 yards, okay? And so the entire school do different project about knitting, okay? And this has been going on for absolutely wonderful. And we have other programs that do after 4 programs where it's dealing with play, but interactive, healthy play, okay? And so they have extra sports and extra support and extra community supporting them. Okay.
But is it the impact? Is it based on the background, the community? Is it, for instance, the certain areas I don't want to classify
Yeah.
But the outcome is different. For instance, EQAO.
They perceive certain school is an elite school, and every parent wants to be in that school. When in fact, the Toronto District School Board have almost 600 schools. And some schools have more higher resource emphasis on certain things. Like we do have some schools that are elite arts and music programs, as you know, okay? We also have some very elite sports program, okay? We have certain schools have known for theater, all right? So I would not say one school is better than the others. I certainly know that you're looking for comprehensive delivery.
So as a trustee, you are, how to balance the kind of expectation and outcome of
the parents' outcome?
Yeah.
I always say to parents, when you are planning to enroll your young child to the school, make an effort to interview the principal, ask him or her, what are your business plan for your school, okay? What are your business plan for the current year and next year? I will also interview him or her and say, how active are your school council? That tells me how involved everybody else is, not just the principal. I will also look at what are some of the extracurricular activities available. All right? After school, before school, during lunch, that kind of stuff. I also will be looking for, if I have any challenge issue, what should I do? Okay? Where do I get the help? Some school have a child youth worker with settlement worker, and the social workers are very involved. They may have a public health nurse coming in from Toronto Public Health. So a variety of things coming in, okay? So, you give different scenario, like interviewing the principal.
Yeah,
okay?
Great. How often do you visit the schools? And how many schools under your caring?
my area, I have 30 schools. I have 30 schools, okay?
Oh my goodness.
And I try to get out there as much as I can. I have
Isn't
to
it
say.
a part-time job?
I know, it's very part-time. When I was a trustee full-time before, I used to visit my school at least once a week.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't been able to do that,
It
okay?
should be a
Because
full-time job.
it's well, we have such a large budget, not just about the buildings we own, okay? The fact is, I mean, just to give you an example, one of the current issue right now is the swimming pool.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
We're the largest
down.
operator. We're the largest operator swimming pool in Canada,
Oh.
the Toronto District School Board.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not just running a school business called education. We run the largest largest pool operator in all of Canada.
Mhm.
We have 84 pools. Okay. So that's what the big issue is, the fact that we have so many issues, and the expectations are great for the trustee because the first thing they would do is calling me.
Yeah.
Okay. When there's an issue in your child's school, the first thing you have to ask is that, have you spoken to your school principal?
But how about your liaison with the partnership with the parents' council?
Yeah.
Or school council
They
representatives?
well, we have a recognized parents committee, as I said to you. It's a
Yeah.
recognized committee of the board. It's
Mhm.
called the PIAC, Parents Involvement Advisory Committee. So they
Mhm.
advise the
PAC.
board. PIAC, we call them PIAC.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
So they come and advise the board. Okay.
Mhm.
But locally, every school is required by legislation to have a school council, where the parent co-chair those meetings with the principal. Okay.
Mhm.
But also, I should say, no, co-chair. There's usually two parents co-chairing a meeting, but the principal is providing resource support. So this is by legislation. They need to have school council. But the other big thing here is that I always get some of the minutes from the school council, or they will advise me, these are the concerns. Can you advocate for us, Sue? Okay. But the biggest challenge is that from one school A versus school B, the issues are totally different, and the needs are totally different. Okay, from parking, okay, to after school program, or to daycare. Okay, so the needs and uniqueness in every school, I have to respect that. So when the school is having some issue or the parents having some issue, I always go back to the parents or the school community and say, have you spoken to the principal?
It's true. It's a
Okay.
channel. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because if they call me and bypass the principal, there's a process they have to respect. Okay,
Mhm.
they might not like it. They may have some differences with the principal. At the end of the day, the person who is by legislation is responsible for managing and operating the school is the principal. Okay, not the superintendent, not me, the trustee. It's that principal. Okay?
I think actually the basic is that build the relations between teachers and parents first.
Yep.
It's basic.
Yep.
Student,
Well,
if the
absolutely.
relationship good, then
Mhm.
don't need to have a high level to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But exactly, if they can settle the differences or work towards the goal of the student between the teacher and the parents, then that's the first thing. But the other big thing we need to advocate for, Carol, is the fact that we have many young teachers
Oh,
in
yeah.
the system, right? Because we have a lot of teachers retiring. Okay, not only they need to learn how to teach those curriculum requirements, they need to how to work with the parents.
Mhm.
Okay, they need to how to work with they need to manage the class and work with the parents, because we have very well educated parents out there. The internet does all kinds of stuff to people,
Mhm.
right? You can Google now and get all kinds of information, and once it's on the internet, they think that's real, and some of the information on the internet.
For the new generation of the teachers, there's a different expectation, different image,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I think most of the parents have concerns that less homework, less kind of the easier, even basic is like the character, like
Mhm.
the self-discipline.
Mm-hmm.
They allow the classroom to make a mess, allow the children to have it sit on a table, kind of a.
No, I
Something.
wouldn't support that. I know when I do visit the school, okay,
But you don't
If-
support it. Great.
I don't support it,
I
but I
didn't-
know every classes and every school I visit, the classrooms are very well done. Okay,
Good.
my schools are very clean. I say to parents, when I visit, I check the washroom. Okay,
Oh.
I make sure the floors are clean, because that's the image of these young people.
Mhm.
They're there 6 to 8 hours a day, depending if they have extracurricular sports in the school. I'm just a visitor, okay? And when I make my visit, I don't call in advance, okay?
course.
I make my visit,
Yeah.
okay? And I want to make sure what is it look like throughout the day. when I'm not here. Okay, so I expect the school to be well run, the school is safe, the classroom is well ready to learn, and every student are respectful of everybody. Good. Okay, because at the end of the day, if there's if there's challenges there, they can't learn. Not just that classroom, the entire school. Okay, when something happened to that one classroom, it affects the entire school community.
Okay, I just curious, like for budgeting, because now just because of financial issues, most schools say, oh, we don't have enough budget for maintenance, for the curriculum, for the test materials, so they call fundraising events.
Yeah.
I realize so many kind of variety of fundraising events, and it seems too commercial and out of control.
Yeah.
For instance, right now they have a token, they have a kind of a gift card. Is it quite great involvement like this?
Well, I know for a fact many of the parent involvement in our school is doing a lot of fundraising. There's no question about that, okay? For a variety of projects. And I get lured in as a trustee myself, not just the parents. But I think that there come a point when this become a big equity issue, okay? Meaning that school A, who have the means, have the resources, can raise a lot of money, and school B, who can't. And so these students who cannot get the fundraising from their parents have the same equity as the school A. Okay? So that's a big challenge for us, because as some of the school councils from time to time complain to me, saying we spend all the time finding ways to raise funds. We get distracted, not able to support our school. Okay? But so for some school communities, say we want to support our school through our fundraising, and that's how they see supporting. All right? And I know certain cultural groups saying, how come our schools don't have books, right? You know, they say, well, you know, that's how you measure the school, how good your school is the book issue, all right? So my argument is the fact that right now there's a lot of learning on the internet. So we have many books, many classroom books online through the computer. So we need to look at, this is a very young group of learner, different kind of learner, like you and I when we went to school. We call them digital learner. They learn by the fingertip, okay? So everything's done by the computer. We know many of the university right now, the students don't even have to come to school. They're online learning, okay? Or they learn on the internet. The classroom is a wireless classroom, okay? So those traditional way of learning is really challenge all of us, because we have parents who learn traditionally. Now the new type of learners are digital. All based on laptop, based on computer, and the technology piece. You know, so that gives a different flavor of expectations and requirements. Through the internet, you have a higher risk of plagiarism, and unethical behavior of the character. Okay, so in the past, you may copy this book or cheat on this thing here, but now you can go surf the internet, take an article and put it into here, and then put in a piece of paper and say that's yours. So again, we have to protect the integrity of those paper. And the expectation is that it gives a lot more challenges for the teacher. When you're marking a paper, exactly, are you marking who's writing this paper? Is it the internet writing for the child, or a parent helping the child? You know, we know parents want to help the child, and that's to be expected. But we want to make sure every assignment that's been assigned to the student from junior kindergarten to grade 12 is done by the student and has to be ethically done.
Oh, these are great challenges.
Absolutely.
You know, Sue, overall, you work with the two, you mentioned you have 2 terms of trustee.
Yeah, this
right?
is my
this
second
term, right?
Yeah.
So we view back the experience, and how can you share your satisfaction and challenges?
I think the way I look at the challenges, I find it as an opportunity to learn for both my constituents in Scarborough, for me as a trustee, as a public official. I value their input. I certainly value their insight on some of the issues, because I can never be always right. They have been there on this issue for many months, some of these people, and finally able to communicate. I'm becoming their advocate in a public forum. Okay, and the challenge for us as a trustee is the fact that we have a lot of financial concerns. We have a declining enrollment issue, and we still want to keep the quality of education that is accessible to all. Like, like what I said earlier, meaning on the day school program. We also have about 150,000 students at the evening program
okay.
and a weekend. Okay, well,
The late school program.
yeah, it's what we call continuing education.
Education.
So when you combine both of these group of people in our schools, you're looking at about 500,000 people.
So are you happy with the government? Is it kind of support? Is it good enough?
The current Minister of Education has been very supportive of the Toronto District School Board. Certainly, we always ask for more. But, the issue is so complex. We have a very large city geographically, and we have many issues. Like, this is not a small board of education. This is a very large school board education. And everything we do is we're being evaluated by the community, but also by our own staff. We have thousands of staff across the system, okay? So one of our constituents may be not just an employee of a board, but also our own constituents.
Yeah, and plus the transparency for
Absolutely.
How to control,
Yeah.
especially on budgeting.
It's accountability.
Yeah, accountability.
You have to be accountable.
It's really,
Because everything we do and everything we say that is being measured, it's being evaluated. What are you trying to do?
especially you're the role model for the new generation.
Absolutely.
If any cheating, any
Yeah.
negative,
Yeah.
thing happens, that
Yeah. And the biggest challenge for us, Carol, is the fact that we lead by example. We lead by example.
exactly.
People see us as role model for the next generation.
Okay, today is a wonderful, information for us. I just wonder, the last one is, if you can advise all the parents, what is a simple kind of advice for them?
I think I want to encourage all the parents to get involved with the child's education from junior kindergarten to grade 12. It's so important for them to be engaged, to participate, and to be part of the school community, okay? We know the data shows that if you're actively involved in your child's learning, meaning coming to the school for meetings, being present, okay? Not just paying for those extracurricular activity, but being present in our school. We need to. We cannot educate your child alone. You need to be a partner with us, and we need to partner with you. And this cannot be done in isolation. This is a partnership here. So the success of your child not just rests on us, the school board, but also you, the parents. How engaged, how active are you involved? We know you need to work. We know you have a lot of challenges in your personal lives, but your first priority as a parent is to your child.
Yeah.
And the most important part, we know if your child is successful, chances are you're very involved with the child.
Yeah.
That's really important.
So as a student, what is the advice for them? How the percentage of dropout for high school?
Depending on who you're looking at, okay? It varies between, some data looks 25, some data look at 30%. Certainly we want students to let us know when there's an issue. Don't wait until a crisis. Speak up, speak with respect, speak with dignity, but also let us know, okay? Don't fester. Don't sit at home and fester and think this is going to go away. Things don't go away.
Exactly.
Okay, we used to say, right? Bigger the kids, bigger the problem, right? And so if you identify you have concerns or issues, you need to tell us already. Don't wait until it's so late in the game that the problem gets bigger, more problematic, and the issues gets difficult to resolve.
Yeah. Be positive, never give up, right?
Absolutely.
You know what? We are the partnership for the community.
Yes.
Do you mind to share how to reach you? Is
Okay, how to reach me
Yeah.
is easy.
Easy.
I'm on the Toronto District School Board website. It's my email address is Sue, is for SOO, then dot and Wong, WONG, at TDSB, stands for Toronto District School Board, .on.ca, or you can go through the Toronto District School Board. So www.tdsb, Toronto District School Board, .on.ca. And that's one way to get a hold of me. Other way is through the phone. Right, some parents don't have an email, or the students. Some students actually write to me through the internet, which is wonderful. Phone is 416-397-3066.
Okay, great. So thank you so
You're very
much for
welcome.
your sharing
Yes.
and supportive. And okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any concern, any problem, you're welcome to call Sue or contact her. Thank you so much. Look forward to meeting you again next week. Thank you.